The first mission in the 40k Command Edition box is First Contact. To play it, you're going to need 5 Necron Warriors and 3 Assault Intercessors. To build these, there's instructions on the preceding couple of pages. Let's have a look here. How to build Intercessor Sergeant, Necron Warriors. You're going to need some clippers, ideally, to do this. You can use a Stanley knife, but honestly you just get much better effect when you snip sprues with clippers. So yeah, I'm going to, before I start playing, do some clipping and putting together. You'll find that sprues have a letter on them. Here's letter A, and all the other pieces have numbers on them. Building your first miniature, I kind of feel like the section there should have starting with like A1, A2, A3. I can't see why it would be so difficult to number them accordingly. But yeah, that's just a suggestion for refining this process if anyone at Games Workshop's watching. Clippers come with 2 sides to them basically. There's the angled side and there's the flat side here. So you always want to have the flat side touching on the side where you want to achieve the cleanest cut. So if I'm going to cut this bit here, I'm going to approach it like this, flat as possible, and then squeeze. That way I get a nice clean edge on there. You could still sand it and things if you really want to. To be honest, I don't do it as much as I should do. When you've finished assembling your models, you should have your 5 Necron Warriors ready, and also your Space Marines. So what I've done here, so that it's easy to tell them apart, is actually put some little sequins on it. So I've got green for and blue ones for the Space Marines. They're really nice models. I've never seen these ones with this sort of pose before, but yeah, really nice. Looking forward to playing with them. So yeah, I got 3 Space Marines here against 5 Necrons in this mission. So we'll go ahead and see what the situation is. So get your table ready and your dice and your rulers and the models that you want to use, and then let's have a look at the mission. So mission 1 is First Contact. Has a setup like that, and basically is going to teach us the very basics of moving and shooting, which are basically, for me, the 2 biggest things in 40k. So while scouting enemy territory, an assault intercessor squad is ambushed by Necron warriors. Without hesitation, the Space Marines ready themselves to fight through the ambush and regroup with the rest of their brothers. Victory conditions. If all assault intercessors are destroyed before any of them escape, the Necron player wins. If 1 assault intercessor escapes, the battle is a draw. If 2 or more assault intercessors escape, the Space Marine player wins. So basically it's the Space Marines here, 1, 2, 3, trying to get off the edge of the game board, and the Necrons trying to stop them. So a pretty basic shooting gallery just to teach us the moving and shooting. This tells us how to deploy our Necrons. So 2 inches from the edge, same for the Space Marines, and 2 inches from the corner. If we use our rulers, we can see that those points intersect around here. So we'll go ahead and put our first Necron there. Was it that? Yeah. And then 7 inches apart. Let's go ahead and complete that. Oh, the first one's 6 inches. So the ones from the sides are 6, the rest are 7. Let's go and set our Necrons and our Space Marines up. Once everyone's deployed, the book then takes us to the Necron Move. Necrons can move 5 inches. And advance d6 inches. So because this is just a shooting gallery, myself as the Necron player, I think I'm just going to wait for them to come into my line of fire and then shoot them. So yeah, for the first turn I'm not going to move. Necrons shoot. So the weapons that they have has a 24-inch range. So now I'm going to measure to see if any of my troops are in range. Let's just go for these guys here. So that's 12. If you have a single tape measure, it's easier. So yeah, these guys are comfortably within range. So I'm going to go ahead and divide fire. I'm going to, let's see how the diagonals work for range. Let's see how the diagonals work for range. Yeah, they're also in range. So I'm going to have the extreme 2 fire at the guys on the flanks, and the guy in the middle shoot this guy. And yeah, that should be all my shooting for this turn. So if we... The next thing we're going to do with our Necrons is roll to hit. So Necrons have a ballistic skill of 3 up. That means that on a d6, if I roll 3 up, I'm successfully hitting. These weapons get 1 shot each at this range, so it's going to be first off, I'm going to be rolling, I want to get 3 up for these 2 Necrons here. Whoops, let's get a better shot of them to shoot this Space Marine. So looking for 3 up. One of them succeeds. Next, if you've successfully hit, the next thing to do is roll to wound. The weapon that these guys have and the toughness of these guys is the same. So that means in 40k there's a 50-50 chance of it happening. The 50-50 chance in 40k is a 4 up. So on one of these guys that hit, let's say it's this one, he's hit him. We're going to wound on a 4 up. And we've successfully wounded. So before we do anything to that Space Marine, he gets to make a saving throw. So the saving throw for a Space Marine is 3 up. There are advanced rules and things that can modify this save, but in order for him to not be hurt by this, the Space Marine player has to roll a 3 up. So let's see how we do. 3, so that's a save. This guy got hit once and the wound got through, but his armor saved him. So well done, that's what the armor's for. This guy here hits on a 3 up. Hits. Wounds again on a 4 up. That's a 6. That's hurt. That could potentially hurt here. So this guy in the middle needs to roll a 3 up. Successful armor save. Next we got these 2 guys shooting at this Space Marine here. So 2 shots, hitting on a 3, both successfully hit, wounding on a 4, both failed. Okay, that's the way it goes sometimes. And so, having done that, we didn't have to remove any casualties, which we would have done had they received wounds. Then it's on to the Space Marine move. So the Space Marines get to move 6 inches and they can also advance. So as a Space Marine player, all I need to do to get victory or a draw here is get off the board. So I'm actually going to choose to advance all of these, who are individual units, up the board. So the first one will move their move of 6 inches plus 3. So that one's going to get to move 9 inches. This one's going to move 6 inches plus 2. Okay, that's good. And then this one will move 6 inches plus 5. Absolutely pegging it. So I'm going to move them with from the front of the base to the front of the base. Whoops, let's flip that around so you can see it. And I'm actually just going to go straight lining it. So what's this one? 3 and 6 is 9. So you're going to get to move all the way up there. Cool, and you can see that now they're closing the distance. Space Marines, this guy's going to go 8. So that'll be up here. And this guy is a hefty, absolutely hefty, up the flank, 11 inches. So this is like really cool. So there we can see that they've all advanced and they are now basically halfway up the board. So yeah, I mean, another turn or two, if they survive, they're getting off the board. Because I advanced with these Space Marines, they're not going to actually be able to shoot this turn. If they just moved or stayed still, they would have been able to shoot. But as the objective is basically get off the board, they all advanced, and so they don't get to shoot. So we're going to move straight to the Necrons next turn. Again, the Necrons are basically not going to move this turn. They're just going to stand and shoot and try and just take down these Space Marines. I'm going to actually do a bit of tactics, I suppose. So this guy's furthest back. So this guy here is furthest back, and so, you know, less probable to get off the board than these guys who are further up. So I'm going to actually focus fire from the 3 this side onto this one, who is the most advanced, and then the 2 up here on this guy on the flank here, who is also further up. Necron ideally player here will kill each on the flank, and then just has to worry about one getting off the board. Because if there's just one left, then by those victory conditions, you know, I think the Space Marine can only draw at this stage if like 2 of them get killed. So we'll see what happens. So as before, nothing's changed. The Necrons, these 3 here, need a 3 to hit this Space Marine. So let's see how we do. Oh, there's 2 of them have hit. We're going to wound on 4s. Let's see how we do. One of them got through, okay? And then the Space Marine player gets to make an armor save. So let's do the armor save of 3 up. Passed. Okay, so those 3 Necrons failed to make a dent in the armor of this Space Marine. So next we've got these 2 here. We're going to fire at this other one on the flank. So let's roll hit on 3s. One of them hits. The shooting's not going very well. Wounding on 4s. Okay, that's a 6. That's pretty good. And then the Space Marine does an armor save of 3 up. And that's passed as well. So in this second Necron turn of trying to shoot the Space Marines, we see that actually they failed to do anything along those lines. I'm tempted to mix it up and actually do some shooting with my Space Marines this turn, but honestly, the objective is just to get off the board, so I'm just going to probably advance again. So for the first Marine, let's see how far he advances. So he gets a normal 6-inch move plus d6 inches. So let's see what we get. Okay, 7 inches. He's tripped on something there. Middle one, 5. That's a good move. And then this guy here on the flank, who is way up the board, is going to advance only the 7 this time. See, not everyone has the absolute sprint mode engaged all the time. So we're going to go ahead and measure. What was it? 6 plus 1, 7. So for the purposes of this mission, we ignore any like hand-to-hand combat and things. That comes in a later mission. We're just learning to move and shoot here. So that's what we're going to do. This Marine here is... Oops, sorry about that. I just knocked a Necron. Put him back there. So 6 inches plus 5 is 11 inches. So I'm going to go here. And then the last one is 7 inches. Let's take some up there. Cool. Let's turn towards the camera a bit. Happy days. And that is the end of the Space Marine's turn. They all advance so they can't shoot, and we can see here these are getting very close to basically mission accomplished off the edge of the board, and the Necrons, all they've done is stand still and shoot without much effect, to be honest. So sometimes that's the way it goes. Necron's third turn, we're going to have these 2, in fact these 3 shooting at this Marine here. Hopefully not totally ineffectively. And we're going to have these 2 Necrons shooting at this one here, leaving this one basically unmolested and very much ready to jump over the line to victory, to score a touchdown, and to achieve basically a minimum of a draw for the Space Marines. So first off, what we got, these 3 shooting at the Space Marine. If you remember, these guys hit on 3 ups. That's all hits. That's really good news for the Necrons. They wound on a 4 up. Okay, so that is 2 wounds. So now the Space Marine player has to make 2 saves of 3 up. 1 has failed, 1 has passed. So basically what happens now is you if a saving throw is unsuccessful, the target loses a wound. If a model is reduced to 0 wounds, it is destroyed from the battlefield. Assault intercessors have 2 wounds, so this guy is actually reduced to 1 wound. Think of it like hit points in other games. So, I mean, marginally successful. They probably just needed to do that a turn ago, and it might have actually had some effect. So these next 2 are going to shoot at the guy right next to them. So 2 dice, hit on 3s, 1's hit, wound on a 4. Wounded, Space Marine is going to make a saving throw. So the Space Marine player would do this. That's failed, so he's also lost a wound. So he will go down to 1 wound left. And that is the end of the Necron player's turn. So for the Space Marine player's turn, I mean, they can basically just walk off the edge of the field here. To be honest, you could at this stage, if you wanted, you could just hang around and shoot with your own gun at the Necrons in the same way that the Necron players have just been doing, like, to you. But for the purpose of this, the mission is to get off the board, so the Space Marine players just going to walk off the board. So they've got a 6-inch move. that comfortably walks them off the edge of the board. I think that guy's like 1 or 2 inches off. Yeah. So we're just going to say, okay, he goes off the end, he goes off the end, and he goes off the end. And that's basically the end of that mission. I mean, it exists as a firing gallery to try and teach you shooting. The Space Marines are tough, so honestly it's a little bit unsatisfying for the Necron player, because it's really hard to just kill them with, like, you know, 3 turns of 5 Necrons shooting at them. But, you know, you get a feel for what it's about. And yeah, let's have a look over here. So what did it say for the victory conditions? If all of the assault intercessors are destroyed, Necrons win. If 2 or more assault intercessors escape, the Space Marine player wins. So yeah, the Space Marine player wins. There's a debrief here. Congratulations, you and your opponent have just completed your first mission and have learned how to move across the battlefield and shoot foe. Many of a model's basic characteristics were introduced in this section. Be sure to compare these to the data sheets on the reference sheet of the model. Yada yada yada. In the following missions, movement and shooting won't be explained in this level of detail, so turn back to this mission if you need a reminder. Some things to add that we didn't do in this mission is that armor penetration and damage is a thing. So here we were saying that the Space Marine gets a throw of 3 up, and that if they failed a save, they would take a wound. Some weapons are more armor penetrating and so affect the Space Marines roll. So instead of rolling a 3 up, they might need a 5 up or a 6 up. And also, if the wound got through, they might have done more damage than 1 wound. They might have done 2 wounds, or some very powerful weapons do d6 damage. So there, the Space Marine could have lost 6 wounds, or whatever you're shooting at. And so another thing to take into account is rapid fire. So the Necron's weapons can rapid fire. That means if they're at half the range, so for this one we said it was a 24-inch range, so if an enemy gets within 12 inches, you can actually shoot at them twice. So each Necron here would be shooting their gun twice in a sort of controlled manner. And so you would end up firing, 10 shots at the targets. So if you were hitting on 3s, you can see straight away they've scored a lot more hits. They've actually all hit. If you were shooting at Space Marines, you'd be wounding on a 4. There you go. You've actually wounded with all them. And if a Space Marine was trying to make saving throws now of 3 up, they would have actually lost 3 wounds, you know, on average. So yeah, we will take into account armor penetration and damage and rapid fire in the next one. So thanks for watching. That's been the first mission, first contact, in the Command Edition of 40k 9th edition. And thanks for watching. Next mission will be mission 2 against the Swarm.